exciting. Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you so much. It's such a joy to be here, and we are fired up being here. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. When I came to a room like this for the first time, I thought I entered the wrong room. And then I asked these guys who were there, what do you do for a living? And they said, we are engineers. And I was wondering, what kind of engineering are they from? But when you're fired up about your future, that's what happens. How many of you have attended an award ceremony at your office? Anybody? Best Employee of the Year award? Highest number of patents award? Have you heard the applause in the room? Like 2 hands? And you hear a murmur because one guy is telling the other, man, politics, only politics. This guy, I know it all. Isn't it? And you come to a room like this and you wonder what's going on. And some of you are here for the first time, this is your first experience, and you're wondering, what went wrong here? What happened? And you know what? As you go along and as you get excited about your future and you start seeing possibilities in your life, you'll get excited beyond your wildest imaginations. We are Ankur and Taru, and we live in Bangalore for many years now. I'm from both of us are from North India. I'm from a place called Indore, and her parents are in Delhi now. I have a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. She has an MBA in HR. She used to work in the hotel industry. I used to work in the chip design industry. So we're just regular people. We're just like you, sitting over here. But we're very ordinary people, but we just made some extraordinary decisions along the way. And that made all the difference over the years. We could have landed in any business, and you could have landed in any business for that matter. But it's easy to think like that. It's easy to, when I meet people, I ask them, so what, have you ever thought of doing something of your own? And they tell me, yeah, I've thought of this, and I've thought of that, and that, and that. They tell me 3 or 4 things, and I always ask them, so what went wrong? Why do you never start it? And they don't have an answer for it. Because it's easy to talk, but it's very difficult to do the walk. And most people just keep thinking about doing something in their life. They never end up doing something about it. And that is why I respect the people sitting in this room. Because all of you are walking the talk. And that is what makes all the difference in life. You could not have come here you were not just passing across from Forum, going home after eating a burger, and you saw a show is happening for $900 and you decided to walk in to watch the show. That wouldn't have happened. You know what? You had to kind of go through so many rounds of discussion probably just to land here and sit over here. Because it won't make sense otherwise. See, a lot of transmission will happen from this stage today. But what will go inside you is not dependent upon the transmission. It's dependent upon how much is the reception happening over here. Right? All these channels are flowing in the air, but you have to tune into the right channel to watch the right thing. And if you don't tune in, you just lost the music and you lost the show. And that's what it is. So we want people who are prepared to be able to absorb. And that is why we are so careful about who we want with us. Starting a business, opening a restaurant, opening a boutique, opening a software company. Yes, a lot of people do it. But what makes a business great is not starting it. What makes a business great is 2 things. One, can you make it scalable? Can you scale it up? Yeah, I can also run a team of 10 people and 15 people, but can I make it 1,500 people? It's a different ballgame. And number 2, can you keep it going? A lot of people can rise up very quickly, but to stay there, not easy at all. And that is what takes a different kind of a mindset, takes a vision to be able to do that, to be scalable and to be long-term. And that is very, very important to understand. You might have heard the story of a group of construction people constructing a structure, and somebody asks this first guy, what are you doing? And he says, I'm laying bricks. And they ask the second guy, what are you doing? And he says, I'm building a wall. And they ask the third guy, what are you doing? He says, I'm constructing a dream home for a family of 4 people, 2 children and 2 adults. They're doing the same thing. The difference is that of the vision. How far can each of them see? And you know what? Whatever you do, over a period of time, the third guy, like cream, will rise to the top, he will rise to the top and he'll start managing the other 2 because he's got the vision which the other 2 don't have. And that is what is required. I tell people all the time, a lot of people ask me this question. So we run a network marketing business, which is the biggest company in the world in this domain, and the oldest as well. And a lot of people ask me, so I know this guy, I know this auntie, I know this neighbor, I know this friend who I also heard they do something similar. And I tell them, no, you might be mistaken, because we might be talking about the same name, but we might not be talking about the same thing. There's this guy who can sell a vada pav coming on the streets in his thela and, hawking it all across the colony. He makes the vada pav at home and he keeps selling it till his stock is over. Goes back home. He's happy with the 1,000 or 2,000 rupees he makes that day. This is level 2 at which somebody operates. This guy invests money and he takes the risk and he opens a store, a shop, and he cooks it. He gets the raw material and makes it fresh and sells it. He sells it till his raw material gets over or till it's time to close. He's got a little bigger vision. And there's a guy number 3. This guy also makes vada pav, great vada pavs, but very quickly he gets out of the vada pav mode. And his vision is bigger. He focuses on identifying the right partnerships. And how big can he make it? Vada pav is obvious. Yes, vada pav will get sold. What's the big deal? It will. And that's where the money will come. But the key is, can he find the right kind of leaders? Can he create the right kind of vision? He's talking about 20,000 outlets and 30,000 outlets and ruling the world with it really one day. Some people are just selling coffee. Some other people are selling coffee, but their focus is, can we create the right feeling and the right environment? So it is about the right vision. So if you're sitting over here, and if you cannot catch that level 3, you might be there and not be there. And you might just miss it. Because it's the same box, it's the same products, it's the same opportunity. But what you can get out of it can be very different. And it depends not on the opportunity, it depends on the person who runs the opportunity. It depends on you and me. How big a vision can we cast for ourselves?
Congratulations for being here today. The reason I say it is because, it's not by accident that you're here. It's also not because you had nothing better planned for your Sunday today that you're here. It is only because you were able to give that confidence to your mentor that you're serious about making a difference in your own life. So you've actually qualified to be sitting in this auditorium today. I would really like all of you to give yourselves a big hand if you're here for the first time for sure. Right here, right now is the most exciting, most happening times of our business. It is like, we are not, all of us sitting here, there's a shift in our mindset, there's a shift in our thought process, and we are geared for whatever we've not done in so many years in the business. Next 3-4 years are going to be huge. So I hope you can see that. When we saw this business almost 18 years ago, we never saw this business as small. We never saw this business only as a means to replace our professional incomes. We saw it something that could give us unparalleled lives. And you know how, when we saw speakers up on stage, we were never intimidated. We never thought, oh wow, for them, or oh my God, for ourselves. It never happened that, we knew that it'll take work, it'll take some time, but that feeling in the heart was that, everybody who you will see it today, I hope you can feel it, that every speaker you saw so far and people who will speak after us, they have created that unparalleled life for themselves through this opportunity. So I hope that, you go back from today very, very confident that it's just a matter of learning a few things and making some good decisions, and that life waits for you. The biggest challenge in our business is working with the wrong people. We've heard it, but you know what? All of us lost some time with it. You know why? Because wrong people never came with a signboard. We never knew who were the wrong people. Very, very simple things. A lot of people we meet, they have wish lists, but they don't have a list of solid dreams that they're willing to work for. Dreams that they're willing to, leave their comfort zone, pay the price, and go out there and make it happen every day. That is where the confusion comes, because they're actually all good people. They are good people, but they're not the right people for our business maybe at that point of time. So sometimes, how do we judge whether for somebody it's a wish list or it's a list of solid dreams for which they're willing to do everything it takes. It's only, I mean, in my opinion, this is what I've seen, decisions people take on a daily basis, every day, about their time, about their money, not when they are on an emotional high. You know, we all are on an emotional high sometimes, and especially like today after this function, everybody is going to be on an emotional high that I have to get this thing done. But what happens when that high fades off? Will you be capable of making the same decisions? So that is what it is. I'm so excited, you know, so super excited about what we are doing right now in the business, because some of us got this right people, wrong people equation figured out intuitively. But for most of us now, with the selection mindset, it's given us such a good framework that none of us can go wrong. The most precious commodity for us is time. Would you agree? And this mindset is just helping us save that time. We put that time somewhere else, we create duplication. So I'm very, you know, the biggest multiplier, the biggest game changer in our business is going to be working with the right people.
You know, I used to write software for chip design, and I worked for only 5.5 years. The software that I wrote in the years 2000, 2001, 2002, it became a part of a tool somewhere. Did I own it? No, I didn't, because I was not a business owner. It was not my asset. I was helping somebody else build their asset with my time. That's what I was doing. But that piece of software that I wrote still lives there. They paid me for it by the hour, by the week, by the month, by the quarter. But they kept selling that tool over and over and over again. Each piece costs hundreds of thousands of dollars per license. Do I keep getting paid on it? No, I don't. It was like with a bucket in a well. I was every time filling it and emptying it. That's what I was doing. But guess what? The business that I built for myself back in 2001 and 2002, 16, 17, 18 years later, all these years, every single month, it has paid me money. I built it once, and that is called an asset. An asset means you create something, and it keeps on paying you. Not just you, your next generation and the next one. And that's the vision with which I started this business. I was not keen on making 20,000 rupees extra, really. That was not the vision with which I started. I saw that with this business something big could be possible, which was never possible in what I was doing out there. Some people can build an asset which is a house and give it to their children, and that's great. But houses don't multiply, they don't give kids. You don't get a kid house after 5 years suddenly. But you still have to build a solid asset. You build a house and your children have to just keep repairing it and keep rooting the walls and keep breaking it down and keep seeping and leaking. And it won't work. It's a useless asset. Your asset has to last at least 70, 80, 100 years. That's a good asset. Somebody builds a factory, the factory should stay relevant, the machinery should work, and that's when it's a gift for your children for the next generation. We're building a different kind of an asset here. It does not have machinery, it doesn't have bricks. It is a people asset. And I like people-based assets. You know why? Because people assets are living assets. They're not dead assets. They really multiply. Because people are intelligent. And people are big dreamers. And when you build people-based assets, there's no limit to what size they can become and how big they can become. And that's the beauty of it. There are people I know who built people-based networks in 1960s. And their children built it after that because they inherited it, and now their children, third generation, are building it today. We were in Spain just a month back on holiday, and we met this couple, Steve and his wife. His dad started a business in 1960. He's got 3 sons, Jeff, Doyle, and Steve. All they've been doing all their life since childhood is just manage that asset because it's so huge, it spans 40 countries, and it just keeps growing. I like it. I would like to hand that kind of an asset to Adi and Avni, our children. But it should live, right? Just like if you have to give an asset of a house to somebody, to children, the building blocks have to be solid. Same way, this asset, the building blocks are people. And they have to be solid people. You build it with weak people, and you got an asset which comes tumbling down. And then there's no legacy. The legacy value is only when this is strong. But how do you find out? How do you make out? And what are we looking for? Are we looking for an asset which has got shining shoes? I don't know. Are we looking for an asset which has got slick English? I'm not sure. Are we looking for an asset which has got more hair, less hair? This height, that fat, this thin, this weight, that weight? No. We're looking for a people-based asset with people who got a dream for themselves, who got a vision for their life, and who are committed to their own dreams and goals. That's the kind of people we're looking for. A lot of times I've seen people look like a hero outside, but inside they're like a mouse. But some people look nothing from outside, but they got a heart of a lion. And that's the kind of people we're looking for, really. Because when you find that kind of people, you don't have to do much with them. You might end up spending 90% of your time finding them, but you need to spend only 10% of your time to get them to see what they can get out of it. And you can't stop them after that. We're looking for people who've got the hunger inside. We can't make somebody hungry. We can just find people who are hungry.
A successful entrepreneur once asked a group of his mentees, if you and I had to run a contest of selling more hamburgers from a hamburger stand, and each one of us could choose, and we are free to choose an advantage of our choice, what would you choose? So some people said, I would choose the best ingredients so that my hamburgers are the best. Some other people said, I would choose a location that's like really profitable. Somebody else said, I would offer it at the lowest price. You know what the successful entrepreneur said? I will beat the heck out of all of you, and I will go only for one advantage. I will choose a hungry crowd. Is that commonsensical? You know, so many times, I'm sure so many of us have been there. So many of us see that young mothers struggling to feed little kids. Seen it? And if you see a grandparent, conventional wisdom, sitting by the side, watching the show, watching the mother getting hassled and the child spitting out the food that she or he doesn't want, and they calmly say, the child is not hungry yet. Right? So this is what, it is so commonsensical, but we fail to see it. You know, just this switch that, you know, we would drive all the way to all the farthest corners of the town, sometimes to an address. If you open the map, it'll take you to the lake or inside the lake, you know, without even checking whether that person is looking, whether that person is hungry. It's high time that we give our time to people who deserve our time, who deserve our friendship, who deserve our mentorship. Because time is money in our business, right? So it's so worth it to put 90%, like Ankur said, 90% of the time in choosing the right people. After that, it is pretty automatic.
You know, we need to have a different kind of an attitude if you have to find that kind of people. And I can explain to you it in many ways, but a good way to understand is you need the attitude of a buyer. You know the attitude of a buyer? Let's just imagine you got a check of 60 lakh, 70 lakh rupees, let's say 50 lakh rupees, and it's right here inside your jacket. And you go out shopping for a car. You got the check in. How would you treat and behave and think when you go and see people trying to sell their car to you? Would you have an attitude? Who's got the check? You got it. If nobody sells a car, do you get to keep the check or does it go away? You get to keep it. It's yours. I'm a pakka baniya. I love the money in my bank than other people's banks anyways, all the time. But that's the attitude of a buyer. We are buyers of talent. We are not sellers of opportunity. I just want you to remember that. When we are buyers of talent, we are looking for the right assets. Because we build them, we put them together, and we can create anything out of it. Anything. You imagine it, you name it, that can come out of it. We are buyers of accountability. That's what we are looking for. A guy says, I'll be there to meet you at 9, and he's there at 8:55. I like it. He says he'll be there at 9, and he, ambles along at 9:20. I'm very doubtful. Is this the right building block for my asset? I'm not sure. I tell somebody, why don't you go through this material, go through a book maybe, or go through a few talks maybe, or come somewhere and listen. And he says, no, I know it all. I don't know who's there in the world who knows it all. If you're trying to build a new thing, you need new knowledge and new way of thinking. We are buyers of teachability. That is what we are looking for. We are buyers of people who are hungry for their own dreams and goals, accountable to their dreams and goals. That is what I'm looking for. So buyer is never in a hurry. Will I be in a hurry to spend my 50 lakhs? Just give it away like a disease? No, I won't be. I'll take my time. Okay, let me see another one. Okay, we'll go again next week and see another one because it's mine. I get to keep it. But I will trade it where I get fair value for it. Here we're not trading money. We're not giving 50 lakhs really, but I'm giving time. And you know what? My time is way more valuable than the 50 lakhs because it's time I take away from my wife and kids and parents and family. And when I give it to you, I better get the right value for it. Because if you don't measure up to my expectations, I wasted my time. And I'm not willing to do that at all. I'm willing to go around shopping. More and more, there's no dearth of raw material. Have you noticed that? The biggest problems of India are also the biggest blessings. 130 crore people. By the time this seminar ends, the factory is running. Big time. Just doesn't stop. And I love it. Every time I go in the traffic, I hate the traffic. But then, I get to think, it's nice there are so many people. Because I am a scout for the right talent. I'm a scout for the right partners. You know the way I treat it? I treat it as if I've got a quota of 12. That's how I treat it. As if I'm allowed to only buy 12. After that, they'll finish my quota. I'm that careful about finding the right people. Because it's about my future and I'm putting my family's future on the line with it. Why not? Why not? Buyer is choosy. He would like to try things out. And he would like to spend some time and knowing for sure that he's making the right choice. Why not? That's fine. Have you noticed that a buyer always asks a lot of questions? He'll always ask a lot of questions. I like to ask a lot of questions. I met somebody yesterday in a coffee shop and I was telling this guy, so why are you looking at owning a business? Have you done something before? And he had a story to tell. I asked him, what makes you so sure you really will be able to build something? I asked him, can you put 15 to 20 hours a week, every single week? And I wanted to scare him. I told him, you can't watch first day, first show movies. You can't watch all IPL matches. You can't watch the World Cup football maybe. You can't go to every party with all the friends. You'll have to decline a lot of things. Are you ready to do that? I'm careful. Because you can't come and tell me tomorrow I couldn't do this because this, if, then, else, but, then, why. I don't want all that really. Because what I'm looking for is creating a massive long-term asset for myself. And the only way that asset will get built is when I find like-minded people. And once I do that, it's a different ballgame completely. Because the whole attitude changes. It's not about what I speak. They say only 17% of communication is the words that I speak. 35% is the tone of my voice. But 58% is body language. So it's not about what I say. It's the feeling with which I'm looking out really. And that is very, very important to understand. Do you think if I go with a 50 lakh rupee check and a guy says, no, I can't sell you at this price, do I feel insulted? I'm happy coming back home and sleeping with the 50 lakhs in my pocket because I can give it tomorrow again and go shopping again for a better one. I got no dearth of time for it. And that's how I would like to think. Like a buyer of talent, not a seller of opportunity.
We believe that skills are easier to come by. They can be taught. Polishing, grooming, upgrade, that can be done. But we need a basic good raw material. Every time the kids are in some activity, there's a process, a new activity they're learning. There's a process that I see happening. There's a cycle that happens. And invariably, it's the same pattern. Everything new is very exciting to begin with. And then there's a realization that I have to practice it every day. That becomes very tough. Then to stick to it, to persist with it is even harder. Then there's a coach who's expecting great performance out of you. He's yelling and he's shouting. And even if the kids fall, they make a mistake, they get hurt, the coach does not even flinch an eyebrow. What is this? I see my little one, Avni, she's 7 years old. She just started skating. This is exactly what I was watching her go through one more time. I've seen it in other activities. First week, very exciting. Second week, a little nervousness. Third week, dragging her feet in the house that I don't want to go. But if you have to be successful at anything, you have to cross that barrier. She got a high five from her coach because she was falling like crazy and she was just, without looking here and there, she was getting up and running on her feet, on her skates again. What is this coach looking for? The coach is looking for a child who would fall down, get up, run again, a child who would go back home and practice, and most importantly, no matter what happens, the child will show up again in the next class. What are we looking for when we are working when we are looking for the right partners? Same thing, grit, determination. Obviously, when you start the business, the first few days, it's very exciting. But remember what I said about the process. The moment you have to do the same things again and again, you will fall. But will you have the courage to rise up again? That's what we want to see. And hence, so many filters. So it's no different. What to do, how to do it, it's in our DNA. If you ask anybody who's built a successful business, any of the mentors, your coaches, you wake us up in the middle of the night at any odd hour, we can tell you what is to be done in the business because we are living it every single day. The only smartness, the only sharpness with which we want to exponentially grow is only with whom. To whom are we teaching? Where are we spending our time with? So that is what the whole shift is all about in our mind.
See, to have a buyer's mindset, the only way you'll get the confidence is when you know your check holds good. If you know the check doesn't hold good, you don't have the confidence. You are afraid too because you're trying to pull a fast one. Same way, unless you understand the value of what you have in your hands, you cannot have that attitude of a buyer. And do you realize what you have in your hand? A lot of times we think, oh, we've got a home care and personal care product kit in our hand. A lot of times we think, oh, I got some nutrition product lines in my hand. I got a business opportunity in my hand. No, wrong. That is not what we have in our hands. We have in our hands something much bigger. You know what? What I realized when I was working, I realized that outside people were very confident. Like, oh, I know where I'm going, I know what. But inside, you go to one of these Friday night parties and after 2 pegs, they're all crying. I had a guy who used to cry at the top of his voice in front of everybody, yelling at his manager, and he used to talk about all doom and gloom because he knew what was going on. You know why? Because most people have no idea what holds in store for them 10 years down the line and even 5 years down the line. And the guy who comes and gives you a big lecture on where you can be and the vision of where he can be gets laid off tomorrow. He himself is not sure of where he's going. The first thing that you and I can give to people is a vision of a great future. Nobody today can give that because nobody knows where they're going, first of all. We can give them a game plan of where they can be. I see people attending Dale Carnegie courses all over the place. In my company, they used to call, these are very expensive courses. They used to call these trainers from the US and they'll come and give a coaching and a training, a 2-day, 3-day, 4-day workshop costing lakhs of rupees on people's skills. But where do you apply it? You need a vehicle to apply those skills. You go and attend a Stephen Covey workshop for 5 days and you just don't know where to be a leader. Because everybody who works under me listens to me because of my position. It's a positional leadership because I will spoil their review or cancel their leave. Go and try it with a voluntary army like here. That is when you'll know whether you're a real leader or not. People have to follow you on their own volition, not because you're forcing them to follow you. You and I are able to give an opportunity to people to practice leadership, to practice people skills, to practice the mindset, to practice success principles. That's a big deal right there. You can open a boutique, you can open a restaurant, you can get hold of the low-hanging fruit. Everybody can do that because you get all your relatives to come and buy and you get all the people in the colony to come and buy. But then beyond that, what? People have no idea how to do that. We have a friend of ours and she's a great artist. She is from the best school of art in the country and she's got great hand. You know what she doesn't have? She doesn't have the skills in sales and marketing. She's a great artist, but that doesn't work, not enough. And guess what? She came over to our place last week and she said, I got a breakthrough. We said, what happened? She said, all I did, I picked up a list of all the architects in my town. She lives in a small place and I started telling them, I can do a custom-made art piece for your houses that you're designing. And they got very excited about it. And I've got so many orders, I don't know what to do with it. I said, how did you learn that? She said, I learned it from this business. Because my fear of calling went away, my fear of talking to people went away, and I stopped selling myself short. Now that's a skill. How many people can claim to have that? It's not being about a good book writer, it's not about being a good software engineer, it's not about being a good artist, a good cook, it's about knowing how to sell that skill to somebody. And we are able to give a platform to people to be able to get that fear out of them in a protected environment, and that's called guided entrepreneurship. You're not out there all by yourself, failing and crying. You've got a shoulder to cry on, and you've got somebody who can tell you, this is what went wrong, don't worry, we are with you, we went through the same thing. That is priceless. You know what? There's a word called free and there's a word called priceless. Both cannot be bought with money. But they are polar opposites. To access their website and buy products, it's free. Doesn't cost any money. But getting mentorship from people sitting in this side of the hall and people who walked up on the stage, getting mentored by them and knowing how to build a business, that's priceless. You cannot put a price on that. Right? Knowing about all the products, you can go to a website and learn it free of cost. But knowing what you need at that time to solve your problem, that's priceless. You buy a streaming talk, it costs $110. Not very expensive really. But knowing that you need to listen to 50 or 100 in a certain amount of time to change your brain and replace your thought process, that is priceless. You can go to Amazon and order any number of books, any book that you want, but knowing which book is the right book for you and finding somebody who can tell you that, knowing you, talking to you, and understanding how you think, that is priceless. Don't sell yourself cheap. Once you understand what value you hold, then you can be a buyer out there. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to be a buyer. It's easy to go on a picnic, it's easy to go to a play arena and play football. I can also book the ground for 800 rupees with a bunch of friends and go and play. I can go a picnic to Chikmagalur tomorrow. I can go watch a movie in PVR. But being able to do that with people who are fighters like you, entrepreneurs like you, who qualify with a certain qualification, fighting day and night, being in that environment and watching that movie, that is priceless. Once you understand that, then you start thinking differently. And you start identifying the right kind of people, because you understand that though the opportunity is free, but the knowledge of how to build the opportunity is not free. That is priceless. You know what kind of people we're looking for? We're looking for people who have the commitment. You know, I got to know about a girl over here. She came to attend this conference. She was coming all the way from Bellary, leaving her small kid back there. The kid started crying so much that she couldn't breathe. She went back halfway, attended to the kid, but didn't just cancel the program, booked another ticket, and she's right here, landed in this hall. That's commitment for the dream. I got to know of somebody who had to go from Hyderabad to Jaipur on a family purpose, got stuck with the whole family, they wouldn't allow him to come, but he was committed to his dreams and goals. He figured it out, took a flight, and he's in Bangalore sitting over here in this conference right now. That's the kind of people we're looking for. People who are doing it for themselves, not for us. Because once you can do that, then your asset will be something to fight for. And then you got a legacy which is going to stay for a long, long time to come. It looks like it's a little slow. It looks like, oh, this is going to take a long time. But if you build it slow to start with, it will be very fast later. But if you try to do it too fast in the beginning, you get stuck later. It doesn't make sense. Because you do it right, and you just get it right. Like they say, you know, most people don't find the time to do things right the first time, but they always find the time to go back and fix it again. That's not what you want to do. And that is why you want to be in a program where you can learn, get mentored, get coached, get corrected in what you need to do. And take the time to do that and to get the feeling of how a business is built. Not just the skill like Taru was talking about. And that is why it's that important. You know, when I came to this room many, many years back for the first time, I just couldn't believe that a place like this could exist with this kind of energy. And you know, when we came up, we asked them to play this song from this movie Aladdin, A Whole New World. And you need to go back and listen to that song. It's got some of the most beautiful lines. It says, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. And that is what I feel standing up here. We can create anything that we want. You name it. You put the pictures on your refrigerator on the walls and they will start coming true, but you just need to pay the price and build a massive business. It's not a big deal. It's not rocket science really. And it says a new fantastic point of view, no one to tell us no or where to go or say we are only dreaming. But we are big dreamers. We would like to dream big dreams. There's nothing wrong with doing that because we got a vehicle with which we can achieve it.
when we got married, Ankur used to keep weaving the dream of our dream life together. And I was not somebody who was a big dreamer, and I would want him to go on and on and on and not stop. And I used to tell him, "Batate raha karo." It just, keep talking about it, because just in that moment when he would describe what life could be, it used to be so thrilling, so exciting for me. And I'll tell you, it holds true even today. Our most favorite thing to do after we, today is a big day for all of us, being in the conference here today. I'm so excited about tomorrow. I'm so excited about what we are going to do tomorrow. I have two things on my agenda for tomorrow. Wherever we go, whenever we come back from a conference, our hangout is go to a nursery, buy some new plants for the house. The other thing we have, I know you're thinking about your Monday morning. Well, that's not my Monday morning. I paid the price too. Okay, and the other thing on our agenda is go look at some of our dream cars, because that is what is on our shopping list now. Well deserved, well waited for, why not? Whenever he would speak of our dream life, right now we are very excited about what our life will be from here to 4 years later. So he used to always talk about, paint the picture of a life of abundance. Luxuries of great cars, fancy cars, good home, good marriage, exemplary family, pampering our parents, just to show our respect and gratitude for how they raised us. Whoever we are, they have a biggest role to play in that. To raise wonderful children, to have the two of us really be mastermind alliance between the two of us, true companionship. These were things that, travel the world together in class. Believe me, when I look back, we have so many slideshows of our diamond clubs, of all the trips we have taken with all our friends sitting here in the first 2 rows. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to tell that really I was there, we did so much, and it came extra. It came beyond what we worked hard for. So it is such a joy to be living this life together. Something that is, apart from what wealth can bring us, the most important thing, two more things that matter a whole lot is, who are we surrounded with? It is such a joy in life to be able to have friends who are dreamers like us, or who are dreamers bigger than us, and we know that they're going to be in this journey with us for life. It is seriously a life of dreams which will come true for everybody sitting here, and I know that through this opportunity we have our chance to create an impact in so many lives beyond our own imagination. A lot of times, that's not where we got started. That's not where I was in my life 18 years ago. But I'm so super excited about the next 4, and here's wishing on the same for you guys.
We found, like Taru was saying, we found the right kind of people. We were very fortunate. We got led to Manipal and Renuka Reddy, our upline EDCs. We didn't do anything for it. You didn't do anything for it to become a part of the mentorship team that you're a part of. It just happened. It was just a stroke of luck. If my roommate had not been standing in that mall buying electronics, he could have never led me through somebody to this couple. And my life would not have been the same. I wouldn't have been standing here. I would still have Monday morning blues probably. But then it happened, and just the point is we made the most of it. And we found the people who were willing to make the most of it. People who were committed to their dreams and goals. We found Indian and Unna. We found a Sam and a Minati. We found a Manoj and a Priya. We found a Kashyap and a Pranati. We found a Raju Swapna. We found a Ravi Parimala. We found people. We found all of you through them. That is priceless. Who can put a price to that? But you and I need to dream big. And the big dream in this business starts with a pin called Ruby. And why Ruby? Why 20,000 PV? Why not double Ruby and triple Ruby? Why not so many legs and so much width that you can imagine the first 2 rows of this hall right from here to there sitting only with your personal partners? How about that? We got 12 partnerships sitting over here today in our summer conference personal. And we are excited about it. Our goal is 20 and 25 and 30, and the sky is the limit. Why not? But you need to have that dream. And when you create that kind of a business, a double eagle Ruby business, then you can make $1.5 lakh, 2 lakhs a month. If you make $1.5 lakh or 2 lakhs a month part-time, what's the first thing you'll do? Quit your job? That's the mistake you should never do. I recommend if you start making $1.5 lakh in your own part-time venture, never quit your job. You know why? The best thing you can do is continue going to that job with a new watch of 5 lakh rupees. And then keep doing the job. And 6 months later, buy a new 12 lakh rupee car and park it next to the colleague who told you can't do it. And then just keep making that money, because after I quit my job, a lot of people came and told me, oh man, Ankur, I'm having a tough time in my office because this politics is going on, this is going on, that is going on. And you know what? If you can continue to go to work when you don't need the money, then let somebody mess with you and show you. And that is the joy of life. It was wonderful talking to you, and see you on beaches and mountaintops of the world. Thank you.
While the techniques and approach